Hello friends, welcome back to your channel #DMP Study with me. So this is the series 2 Prepare Python for Placements. So in this series, we'll discuss about the concepts of objects and classes, and we'll discuss how to create the object, how to access the variables and the methods in the object. So let's get started into the video. Let's take the first question. Dash represents an entity in the real world with its identity and behavior. So it is saying the entity in a real world which is having its own identity and behavior. So options are, can you guess among all these four which is the entity in the real world which is having its identity and behavior? The answer is an object. An object is a physical entity which is having its own characteristics and its behavior. So the object represents an entity in the real world with its identity and behaviors. So let's move towards the next question. Now the next question is asking that which is used to create an object. How to create an object? Do you know how to create an object? Let's take a look on the options. We have class, we have constructors, user-defined functions, or inbuilt functions. So in Python, if you want to create an object, you need a constructor. So answer for this question is B, constructor. Constructor is used to initialize the object or instantiate the object. Now take a look on the next question. What is instantiation in terms of OOP, means OOPS terminology? In terms of object-oriented programming terminology, what is the meaning of instantiation? Just in the before question, I have told you instantiation is creation of the object. So can you check which of the following option is the correct? So the last option, option D, is correct. Creating an instance of a class. Move to the next question. Now what is set ATTR? What is set ATTR used for? So basically this is a method, inbuilt method in Python. This is basically said as set attribute. By the name it is clear, it is used to set the attribute of an object. So the correct answer is to set an attribute. Option B. Let's move towards the next question. In the same way, it is asking for what is get attribute method used for. So get method, get means to access. So get attribute means to access the attribute of the object. So option A is correct one. The correct answer is option A. Now let's move towards the next question. So this is a Python code and it is asking for the output. So can you check what is given over there? There is a class test and there is a method init. Now I have told you before also that if a method starts and ends with double underscore, it is known as magic method and it will instantiate or it will automatically instantiate it. So in the init method, it is defined as self, then a attribute which is equals to hello world. Let's write this on Google Colab and see what will be the result. So the question is asking for, there is a class test. So there is a method def underscore underscore init underscore underscore. This underscore underscore represent that this is the inbuilt function and these are the magic methods that start with double underscore from the beginning and double underscore at the end. So there we have to pass as self. Self is basically passed. Self is a variable that hold the current object. So self indicate the current object. After that we are passing A as hello world. Hello world. And here we have a variable A in which we have allocated the value of A. Then we have a definition def display Again we are passing self, and here we are printing self dot a. So basically this test is a class. When you're going to create the object of it, the init method will initialize this object, and this display is a method that is inside the scope of your test object, because self is passed over here. So wherever self is passed, it means that is the instance method rather than a class method. Soon we will discuss about the class method and difference between the class method and the instance methods. So here let's take a look how to create the object. Just create the reference. Obj is the reference, and we have to mention like this, test. So this statement is used to create the object, and here with the help of the reference we are calling its function display. So let's take a look what will be the output of it. So the output is hello world. Here we have mentioned a, and we have already assigned the default value inside it. So these kind of variable we call it as the default variable. Okay, and if I want to give some other name over here, like if I want to say here Python, to give Python. Now a is it override the value of a, and the output will be Python. So if nothing will be, if you have not given anything over here, in that case it will take the value of by default value of a. Otherwise, if you pass the parameter of a over here, like if I passed over here I love Python, so in that case it will override the value of by default value of a, and it will give the output, the current output which I have given over here in the constructor. So this is the constructor test. In this bracket, this is a constructor. Whenever I create the object, it will call the constructor, and what constructor will do? Constructor will call init method, and it will initialize the instance variable. Okay, let's take a look on the options. So hello world is displayed. C option is the correct option. Now let's move towards the next question. Now again you can see over here we have a test class. Over here we have init method, and a is passed over there, but we haven't provided a default value to it. So it means whenever we have to create the object, we have to pass one parameter at the time of the creation of the object. So let's take a look on Google Colab. Now we have the same question, only few things are changed. Let's take a look. So they have not mentioned the by default value of a, and here, so this is the question. So if I run it, it throws the error. It says in init method missing one required positional argument a. It means in init method it is asking for single argument a. Self we have passed to hold the object for the current object. It is also passed the variable, local variable over a here. So a is a local variable. At the time of at the time of the creation of the object, we haven't passed anything over here. So that's why it is throwing an error that there is one argument in init and you haven't passed anything else. So if I passed over here, let's say 12, so it will print the answer 12. Okay, so if you haven't passed over here anything, it will throw an error. So it is saying it runs normally, doesn't display anything. It displays 0, which is an automatic default value. And C option is saying error as in one argument is required while creating the object. Yes, this is the error which is thrown by the object, as here we haven't passed anything in the object while creating the object, and in init method we have passed one argument over there. So C is the correct option. So let's move towards the next question. Now this is also similar to the previous one, but here to access the elements or to access the members of the object, we are using the inbuilt method get attribute and set attribute, which we have just discussed before theoretically. So let's take a look what they are saying. It is saying there is a class change. there is a method, init method. So basically init method is used to initialize the object, and within the init method we have passed self to hold the object, and there are 3 local variables x, y and z. So there is one instance variable self.a in which we are just summing up x plus y plus z. Okay, so the value of a will be x plus y plus z, and here we are creating the object of change. X equals to change. X is a reference variable in which the object's reference is stored. Change, in change we have passed 3 variables, 3 values, 1, 2 and 3, and 1, 2 and 3 is automatically passed to x, y and z. And again, when init is called, self a is initialized as 6 value. 2 plus 1 plus 3 is 6 values. Okay, so the value inside self.a is 6. But we initialize the value of a, but we are not accessing a right now. Now let's see the next statement. It is saying y equals to get attribute. Now get attribute is an inbuilt method which is used to access the variables of the object. So we are passing over here inside the parameter of get attribute, we are passing x over here. Now this x is the object change, and this object we are accessing, for this object x we are accessing the variable a. Now we know the value of a, the value of a is 6. Now this get attribute returns that value of a, and y stores the value 6. So y is equals to 6. Now here we are using again the inbuilt function in inbuilt method set attribute. Set attribute we have just now studied is used to set the value of the attribute. So here it is saying we are going to set the attribute. Attribute belongs to x object. X is object. Then in that object we are going to set the value of a. And what is the value of a? The value of a will be y plus 1. So just take a look. Just in the previous instruction we have seen that the y value, inside y value we have assigned the value of self.a, which is nothing but 6, and it is saying y plus 1 means 6 plus 1, which is equals to 7. Now if it is asking for printing x.a, the value of a will be, it is 7. So let's take a look on the options. So answer should be B. Let's take a look on the Google Colab notebook and write the code over here. So we have the class change, and inside that change class we have the inbuilt or special method init method which initialize the object with some value. We have the value x comma y comma z, and then what it will do, it has one instance variable a, and it is initialized as value x plus y plus z. We are just creating the object. Let's say x equals to change. Inside change we have to pass 3 variables. If we will not pass 3 variable, it will throw an error, because in init we have already passed 3 variables. So let's say we are going to pass it over here 3. We have mentioned this instruction. What this instruction will do, it will create the object change, and along with creating the object change, it will call this init method and initialize the value of a as x plus y plus z, which is equals to 6. Or you can see over here, let's say if I say x dot a, it will print 6. Okay, now what we are doing, we are actually using, this is also one method to access the variables or methods of the object. I have told you dot operator is used to access the variable and the methods of any object. The other method is to use the inbuilt method. Let's take a look. We are saying that y equals to get attribute. Inside the get attribute we are passing over here the object name. Object is x. We are just accessing the value of a variable of x object. Okay, now you can see over here, if I say print y, it will do the same thing which x dot a is doing. Okay, Now it is giving me the same output. Now if I say set attribute, I'm going to set the attribute. Attribute of which object? I have to mention the name of the object x. Inside the x, I want to set the value of which particular variable? I want to set the value of a, and what should be the value of that a variable? I am setting it as y plus 1. So I just print it by saying x dot a. So it will give me the output 7. Or you can also write it like y equals to get attribute x comma a. So if you want to print this y, print y, let's say take it y1. So let's take the output of this also. This will also give you the same answer. Now move towards the next question. This is the code. I think now the things are clear to you, how the things are going on when we are going to create the object. So in this class, we are having a class and init method which initialize the instance variable b. So self.b is the instance variable, and this b which is given inside the init parameter as in parameter is a local variable. Now there is one instance method which is display. Inside it we are passing over here self, and it will print the value of self.b. So whatever the b value we have passed while creating the object, it will print that. Now the next statement, it is saying obj equals to a, means they are creating the object a of class a and passing hello over there. So hello will be assigned to self.b, but then it is deleting the object. del command is used to delete the object. So it will delete the object. So the question is the following Python code correct? So we have to check whether this will work or not. So the options are true and false. Try to execute this question and tell me the answer in the comment box. Now let's take a look in the Google Colab. So our question is, we are creating a class A in which we are defining init method. Here we have passed self, along with that we have passed one variable b. Now what will happen inside the init method? Init method is your magic method. We are assigning b self.b as b. After that we are creating one method which is an instance method. Let's say it is display, and inside display we have to pass self, which will hold the object, and then we have to print over here self.b. Now what we are going to do, we are creating the object. Let's say we are creating obj equals to a, and we have to pass over here one parameter because we have passed one parameter in init method. So let's take a let's pass over here hello, and we are going to delete the obj. So nothing will happen. Actually, after creating the object, it will initialize the value of hello into the self.b, and after that it is deleting the object. So it will delete the object, and if after deleting the object I want to access anything of that object, because object A is no more in the memory. If I want to ask for any method of object A, it will throw an error as object A is not defined. Yes, it is correct. It will execute, but it will not access the methods or the variables of object A after deleting the object. The option A is correct one. Let's move toward the next question. Okay, now look at the question. I think you will get a good idea on that, how to do these type of question, and please tell me the answer of this question in the comment box. So it is a class test. Again, we have used magic method, init method to initialize the object. Self is passed over here, and see over here there is no parameter given in the init method. So self dot variable is a instance variable in which we have assigned a manual value old. Then self dot change, we have called inside the init method, we have called the change method, which is an instance method, self dot change, and we have passed self dot variable over here. So what this change method will do, see over here, we have passed self comma variable. var is a local variable or a local parameter for change object, and here we are making one more var variable, which is a local variable for change method, which is equals to new. Okay, again it is created the test object by mentioning the reference obj. Now obj is accessing the variable. Now can you tell me what will be the answer or what will be the output of this Python code? Just pause the video, execute this code on your notebook, Python notebook, and just write down in the comment box what is your answer. Okay, let's try on the Google notebook. So here we have a class change. That class change have the definition, have the method, which is the init method, which is the magic method, and we have passed self over here, but we don't have any other parameter. So inside the init method, what init method will do, it has one variable, instance variable named as variable, and the value of this variable is old, and along with assigning the value in the variable, it is calling change method, which is the instance method, and passed over here self dot variable. Now let's make the method change. We have change method, and inside this change method we have passed self. If we have passed self, it means this method or a particular variable belongs to the object, and here it has passed one local variable var. Inside it we have defined one local variable which is associated with this method only, var. Variable have this value new. Okay, now what we will do, we are going to create the object obj equals to change object. We are creating change object, and we don't need to pass anything because inside init there is no other parameter other than self, and self will pass automatically. Now what we will do over here, we are going to print obj dot variable. Can you tell me what will be the output? So the output will be old. So why the output is old? See over here, we have manually passed the value old inside the self dot variable, and in the change method we are assigning the value in a new variable var, which is a local to only change. So the value of var is new, but here when we are creating the object change, it is printing the value of variable. Variable is the instance variable of the object change, so it will call the value of self dot variable. So self dot variable is old, that's why it is printing old. Take a look on the options. So we have already executed, the old is printed. The correct answer is C, old is printed. So this is it for today's series. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe if you like the video.